Cyril, the receiver's had an excellent night. He's been the primary target in the Raiders' passing attack.
The penalty will make it now 3rd down and about 18. Morgan has to get out to the 42-yard line for a first down. Ball spotted at the 28. And
I was going to say, I think the clock was rolling.
Yeah, the clock,
clock did run down all the way to 3:05.
So they're going to get together a line judge who keeps the clock on the field and see what they will reset it to. And I think it should be reset to 3:31. I think that's where the penalty was.
I believe you're correct.
So they will reset. They're going to reset it to 3:20. And it'll be 3rd down and 19. Or 3rd down and 14. They have to get out to the 42-yard line. Ball back at the 24. So actually it is 3rd down and 19. And Brown is back to throw. He's rolling out to his right. He's going to set up the screen to his left. Searle's got it. Searle's got a blocker out in front of him. Searle out across the 30, out to about the 33, 34-yard line. So, I mean, he gets about 10 of it back. But it'll be 4th down and still about 9 yards to go. And certainly I think you'll see a punt come here from the Morgan Raiders.
Yeah, certainly. No point of taking a shot you don't need to take and giving the Warren Warriors any more hope, at getting back into this game with a short field.
And Coach Matt Kimes takes a timeout as well. Gives us an opportunity one more time to tell you that we will be selecting the Kettle One Teamwear Player of the Game following the game this evening. Kettle One Teamwear at 313 Green Street in Marietta. The best in team uniforms, screen printing, and embroidery. Give them a call at 740-373-7969. Out of the timeout by Coach Matt Kimes. It's 4th down and 8 for the Morgan Raiders. And you'll see Carson Copeland on to punt the football away here for Morgan. And the ever-dangerous Jason Williams back to receive. He's going to stand back at about his 30-yard line. Copeland standing at his own 20. Snap will come from the 34. And Copeland gets a foot into it, and a booming kick is going to go all the way back and roll out of bounds inside the 20-yard line.
Looks like they're going to mark it at the 11 or 12, and he has had himself a fine evening on special teams. Of course, launched one, about 50 yards that ended up for a touchback earlier.
They're going to mark it at the 14-yard line. So that is going to be a 52-yard punt for Copeland.
Doing it on the ground, doing it through the special teams. He's had himself a very solid evening, and
so 2 minutes, 52 seconds to go in the ball game here. Warren will take over 1st and 10 from their own 14-yard line. Morgan leading 28-14. Both teams will be back home next week. The Morgan Raiders will entertain their Route 60 rival in the Philo Electrics, and the Warren Warriors will head back home and take on the Williamstown Yellow Jackets next Friday night. Taylor back to throw, looking across the middle, and it is incomplete. A little too high there, intended.
And it looks like we're going to get a flag
for A.J. Chris. And a little late shove on a Raider defender. They're going to call that an unnecessary play and mark off 15 yards.
Well, certainly not the kind of thing you want to do when you're trying to put one away here, give a team extra breaths. They are, the Warren Warriors certainly have had some opportunities. I feel like maybe a couple of passes that just went through the receiver's hands tonight. A couple of drops that proved quite costly.
So a first down and 10 for the Warriors from the Morgan 29. Taylor back to throw again. He scrambles, gets out of some trouble, and he's going to scramble forward out across the 35 out to about the 37-yard line. It's a gain of 8 on the scramble by Trent Taylor. It'll bring up second down and 2, but the Warriors are going to have to hurry up here a little bit.
Yeah, they certainly are. A whole lot of ground to make up and only about 2.5 minutes to do it.
Second down and 1 from the 38-yard line. Taylor is back to throw once again, looking, throws over the middle. It is incomplete. Intended that time for Hunter Grimm. And it'll bring up third down and 1 with 2:13 to go in the ball game. And we change footballs here before this third down and 1. 133 seconds to go in this one. Taylor back to throw, looks, and that's going to be a little bit out of the reach of Zach Lucas, and it'll bring up fourth down.
Yeah, just inches out of the grasp of the receiver. Lucas has been targeted a number of times tonight. Of course, was able to haul in the touchdown in the first quarter.
So we have fourth down and 1 right here. And Taylor will take the snap and hand the ball off to Williams. He'll push forward, and it's going to be close. Ooh. This is going to be really, really close. I don't know if he got it or not.
I tell you what, if this ends up short, I think you got to be pretty proud of the way you played, and it looks like they will be if you're a Morgan Raider, because you just stopped quite a fearsome opponent there in Jason Williams.
He needed a yard, and he only got about a half a yard. So Morgan will take over on downs, and they will call a timeout now with 2 minutes and 2 seconds to go. And all they are going to have to do, Warren has but one timeout remaining here, so they're going to have to run a couple of plays to the point where you might have to get one first down to completely run out the clock, but it is pretty much academic at this point.
Pretty much, unless some extraordinary things happen in the next couple of minutes. We'll leave this stadium tonight with a couple of 1-1 teams. Again, glad to see that now we've seen a few flags here late, but a clean game.
Overall, pretty much, yeah. I mean, you've had one personal foul against each team. You had a holding penalty on Morgan and a couple of pre-snap penalties that sometimes you chalk up to jitters. But first down and 10 for the Morgan Raiders. Ball at the Warren 38-yard line. Brown is going to go up under center, and he's going to hand the ball off to Pauly. Pauly's going to cut inside the 35 down to the 34-yard line. Give him 4 yards on the carry, and Coach Matt Kimes is not going to use his timeout here. He may not use his timeout. We don't know.
Well, Pauly touches the ball, and it doesn't result in a touchdown.
But you know that Morgan is going to take every bit of that 40 seconds that they allotted between plays.
Oh, certainly they are, and hometown faithful here very excited with the way that their Raiders came out and performed in the second half.
Putting 2 touchdowns up on the board in the second half, and the handoff will go to Pauly once again. He'll just barrel his way forward inside the 30 down to about the down to the 30-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and 2. And I don't see that Coach Matt Kimes is going to bother with his timeout.
Don't believe so.
So,
I mean, you can't take it with you, but what good's it going to do?
So I think one more snap here, and that will be it, as we are approaching 40 seconds to go in the ball game. And Morgan with a 28-14 lead. They'll pick up their first win of the year. And Brown is just going to go back and sit down and take a knee with 28 seconds to go, and that's your ball game tonight. The Morgan Raiders defeat the Warren Warriors by a final score of 28-14. We will take a timeout and come back and wrap this one up. You're listening to High School Football on ESPN Radio.
There's always a handy app on your phone for weather, directions, and typically you can ask Siri anything. But the Ohio Valley Cab and Delivery Service app offers added convenience. After you register, at the touch of a button, you can get traditional cab service, mail and grocery runs, and special deliveries. And it's not a drone. It's a real person in a real car driving you safely over the river and, well, you know, wherever you need to go. 740-374-TAXI, and now with the Ohio Valley Cab app.
Hey, it's Tony at the Citizens Bank Company. The process of obtaining a loan can sometimes seem daunting. Let us take the worry out of this process and replace it with the loans that will get you the keys to that car, take you on a much-needed vacation, or secure the house you've been wanting. We're here to help you find the best loan to make life happen. Stop by and visit us at any of our 5 convenient locations or visit us online at thecitizens.com. We are here for what matters most. See you soon. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
And we welcome you back to McConnellsville. Andy Rex along with Sean Jones as we wrap this one up after the handshakes. And you see the Morgan Raiders heading down to the east end zone, and there goes that victory bell.
Yeah, they have a lot to be proud of, especially that second half. Not only did they find what they needed offensively, how about putting a goose egg up on the other side as well, limiting a team last week that exploded for just a number of scores, 49 points last week. Well, they held them to 14. And in terms of the Warren Warriors, I do feel like there were probably some opportunities that they missed. I think they're going to be able to go back, look at the tape, and see some areas of improvement for sure. And they are quite a young team. I mean, as we've mentioned, a lot of these names, when we're calling them out, we're looking beside them and seeing 9s and 10s. Especially more so, we did see a lot of senior Raiders come out tonight and really have themselves a good showing. And I guess, only at least one senior, Levi Brown, a couple of juniors, Carson Copeland and Wade Pauley, really on their side with the excellent evenings. Andy, I will say that I did expect maybe a couple of more touchdowns, but all in all, what an entertaining game we got to see here tonight in McConnellsville.
Let's quickly recap the scoring of tonight's game. It started off at the 7:19 mark of the first quarter. Trent Taylor to Zach Lucas, a 13-yard touchdown pass. The extra point was good. Warren led 7-0 at that point. Morgan immediately answered with a 1-yard touchdown run from Wade Pauley. The kick was no good. Warren still led 7-6 at the 3:07 mark of the first quarter. Jason Williams then took the ensuing kickoff for the Warren Warriors, 92 yards to the house. The extra point was good. Warren led 14-6 at that point. And then the Morgan Raiders answered right back once again on their very next drive, capping it off with a Wade Pauley 2-yard touchdown run. The kick again, no good. Warren led 14-12 at the halftime intermission. Second half, 2 touchdowns, both for the Morgan Raiders. Wade Pauley with his 3rd touchdown of the evening, another 2-yard run at the 6:14 mark of the third quarter. The 2-point conversion was good from Levi Brown to Cole Searle. Morgan led 20-14 at that point, and then Levi Brown capped off the scoring with a 22-yard touchdown run of his own, and then the 2-point conversion pass to Carson Copeland for your final score tonight of 28-14.
What an entertaining second half, an entertaining game overall. A warm night, Andy. For the first time, I feel like I can say I'm not sweating today as we've been here in McConnellsville. Certainly, I'm looking forward to next week's matchup as we're going to be back at Warren High School.
Back at Vincent, and the Williamstown Yellow Jackets will come to town, and we will see that game next Friday night again here on ESPN Radio AM 630 and FM 92.9. Also online at WMOA1490.com and our video at Facebook and YouTube, and we are certainly looking forward to it again. Got to name a Kettle One Teamwear Player of the Game, Sean, and
I tell you what, it's pretty close. It has been close because I feel like Polly was just all over the place and obviously had the touchdowns to show it tonight. Carson Copeland, I feel like, did a lot of the heavy lifting, between the end zones that Polly would find himself falling into. The game's leading rusher was Copeland, up over 160 yards unofficially, and I've got to say, I'm going to give it to the guy who I saw make some defensive plays. Let's give it to Polly tonight. I think he deserves it. Anytime you get a guy wearing a 71 with 3 touchdowns, I think Junior Wade Polly deserves that Kettle One Player of the Game tonight.
Okay, then we will give it to junior defensive lineman / fullback /
touchdown machine.
Touchdown machine, Wade Polly, our Kettle One Teamwear Player of the Game tonight for the Morgan Raiders as they are victorious over the Warren Warriors tonight by a final score of 28-14. Stick around. Of course, we'll head back to regular ESPN programming here in just a few moments, and of course the high school football wrap-up show tomorrow morning about 9:20 or so. Chris Worf, Tom Hushen take you all around all the area games and talk to some of the coaches and
get you ready for one tomorrow as well.
And get you ready for one tomorrow evening. 5 o'clock is the kickoff tomorrow night in Beverly for the Fort Fry Cadets and the St. Henry Redskins. That game will be over on sister station, Jaws Country 100.9. Thanks to Ben back in the studio for all of his help. Thanks to Brett for all his handyman camera work and everything here in the booth as well with us. For Sean Jones, I'm Andy Rex. Final score, final time tonight from McConnellsville. Morgan 28,